Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning for January 26, 2024, opposition concerned as the U.S. advises against the travel to Jamaica due to medical services. There is concern from the parliamentary opposition about what it says is the unprecedented travel advisory issued by the U.S. government, urging its citizens to reconsider travel to Jamaica due to the alarming state of the country's public health care system. The advisory issued Tuesday urged the U.S. citizens to reconsider travel to Jamaica due to crime and medical services. Americans were told that emergency services and hospital care vary throughout Jamaica, and the response times and the quality of care may vary from U.S. standards. The U.S. government says public hospitals in Jamaica are under-resourced and they cannot always provide high-level or specialized care. Opposition spokesman on health Dr. Alfred Dawes says this is a wake-up call for all Jamaicans about the state of the healthcare system.
Previously, you would have advisors coming out because of crime, or you would have an advisory if there was an epidemic, as we had in the case of the chikungunya and the dengue outbreak. But I have never seen before where you have an advisory being issued because of the permanent state of our healthcare sector. It's really alarming that we have gotten to this stage where, on one hand, we're talking about developing world-class facilities for medical tourism, and on the same time, we're having an advisory telling citizens not to come to Jamaica for regular vacations just in case they get sick. Whenever we say something in the opposition, whenever any well-thinking Jamaicans say anything about the state of healthcare in Jamaica, we are met with rebuttals that it is all politicking. No, the U.S. government has no reason to be politicking on our behalf. This is a genuine concern that they have, and this is echoing what we've been saying for a very long time. We need to do better in terms of definitive actions and not just lip service, but there are some very easily picked low-hanging fruit that we can use to start seeing significant improvement immediately. Cornwall Regional Hospital ought to be up and running post-haste. We have to pump whatever resources that are needed, get the recommended expertise, and just get it done. We are throwing good money after bad, but it has to be done immediately. At the same time, we have to look at the other resort towns. Lucy Hospital has always had issues. We had a golden opportunity to renovate it and expand services during COVID. We let that slide. We have to look at how we're going to address all of these facilities in the resort areas. But beyond that, we have to look comprehensively at the entire healthcare system, because we're not just here for tourists.
Tasty employee succumbs to injuries from gun attack. The Tasty employee who was shot in a daring gun attack Thursday afternoon inside the restaurant's Crossroads St. Andrew branch has succumbed to his injuries. He is Roland Sawyer, also called Indian, of Iron River District in St. Andrew. The news understands he died during surgery. Investigators believe he was the target of the attack. Reports are that sometime after 4 p.m., men entered the establishment with guns blazing. Sawyer had reportedly just completed his shift and was leaving when he came under gunfire. A member of the Jamaica Defense Force who was purchasing food at the establishment was also shot in the leg. Both men were assisted to hospital. The condition of the army man has not been ascertained. Customers had to scamper for cover. Eyewitnesses told the news team at the scene Thursday afternoon. The men escaped in a waiting vehicle. The St. Andrew Central Police are probing. Elderly man dies in house fire in St. Elizabeth. 78-year-old Leroy Hamilton, otherwise called Rum, died as a result of injuries he sustained in a fire at his home in Huntley Castle, St. Elizabeth on Thursday. The Newmarket police say about 2:20 a.m., residents saw smoke coming from the dwelling and alerted the police and the fire department. On their arrival, cooling down operations were conducted and Hamilton's charred remains were found among the debris. The scene was processed and the remains were removed to the morgue pending post-mortem. JPS accused of negligence after man electrocuted in Manchester. A man was electrocuted when he came in contact with a fallen Jamaica Public Service Company high-tension wire in Wildman Street, Christiana, Manchester, on Thursday morning. He has been identified as 46-year-old Garfield McLean, a construction worker who lived in the community. Residents say they noticed the fire gashing from the wires late Wednesday night and called the power company, but no one responded. They say around 5 o'clock Thursday morning, they were alerted to screams and they later saw Mr. McLean entangled in the wire along the road a short distance from his home. They say Mr. McLean was on the ground for some time. The residents showed the news correspondent a rusty piece of metal which supported the wire on the pole, which broke, taking the wire down with it onto the roadway. People's National Party caretaker candidate for the constituency, Valentin Wint, accused the GPS of negligence in the death of Mr. McLean.
You know, what we are seeing here is a display of extreme negligence, as the maintenance that should be in place is obviously and evidently not in place. You know, for a high tension wire to break loose from that which holds it in place, and when we examine, we realize that the piece of metal holding it in place was rot. The residents here have been complaining to JPS for many years, they say. They say that sometimes the two wires collide and it's fire all over the place. The lady who lived next door to where the incident happened said a few days ago the wires just keep coming together and she keep calling JPS. It has gotten to a point where the residents have to hang a bottle and in one case a building block to prevent the wires from coming together.
Customs warned leakers will be punished after poison air report revealed to public. Veteran trade unionist St. Patrice Ennis has dismissed as a nonsense an internal memo sent to staff of the Jamaica Customs Agency that warned against breaching the Official Secrets Act of 1911 following the leak of an air quality assessment report that found that the environment there was harmful. Ennis, the president of the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, told the news yesterday that the state agencies often misuse the act in attempts to silence staff who spoke out. It's matters like these that point to how people focus on the wrong things. What should be of importance to the head of customs and those who are concerned about the Secret Act is whether persons are working in a suitable environment and their health and welfare are taken care of, and not whether persons know the truth, Ennis said. Commissioner of Customs Velma Ricketts Walker on Wednesday told JCA employees that they have a duty to not disclose orally or in writing any official document or information obtained as a result of their position as a government employee, according to Section 2 of the Act and Section 4A of the Customs Act. Team members should also be guided by Staff Orders 4.4 and 4.5 of the revised Staff Orders for the Public Service 2004 concerning public employees, the media, and the confidentiality, Ricketts Walker said in the memo. She said a failure to adhere to these provisions may constitute a criminal offense and may result in disciplinary action with a view to dismissal. Contraventions will be investigated, and any officer of the agency who is found in breach of duty or confidentiality will be penalized to the full extent of the law, she said. The warning comes days after the news reported that the assessment, which was carried out between September and December last year, found that several departments at Myers Wharf are the host of noxious fumes. These include nitrogen dioxide, carbon dioxide, fine particulate matter, mold, bacteria, and fungi. Ennis said the agency's focus should be on correcting the air quality at its head office instead of trying to conceal information from the person who it affects, and also to look for somebody to punish. Referencing a similar incident that he said occurred with the National Public Health Laboratory when the incinerator broke down, Ennis claimed that instead of rectifying the problem, an investigation commenced to find the person who had leaked the information to the media to punish them. These are some of the difficulties we are having with the Occupational Safety and Health Act being passed and put into legislation because the respective entities are not ready, and the upper echelons of those systems and the public bodies are not where it's supposed to be, which is to correct the problem, Ennis said, noting similar issues that occurred at the Cornwall Regional Hospital in Montego Bay, St. James. The same kind of measures is being adopted, wherein instead of focusing on the problem, they are trying to see who leaked the information. They embarked upon a witch hunt, a lot of denial, never heard of it before, and so on. Again, we see this too often, and this practice and this culture must stop, said Ennis. He said state agencies are misinterpreting what the Secrets Act is about and the information that must be concealed. It is not about this. This is about a proper work environment for workers, and I think where there is transparency, everybody benefits as a result of that. That which they are doing is really just nonsense and points to the deficiency in terms of management by some of these persons who are at the helm of the public bodies, said Ennis. More than a decade ago, in 2011, former Prime Minister Bruce Golding said he wanted to see the act removed from the law books, noting that such a legislation had no place in an independent country. This has no place, and if next year we are going to be celebrating 50 years of independence, then I would like to say bye-bye to this before we celebrate that 50, he said then. He was contributing to debate on the Protected Disclosures Act in the House of Representatives when he made the comment. The Official Secrets Act prohibits public servants from revealing certain information that would affect areas such as national security.